No Man's Sky was one of the most anticipated games coming out this year, but fell flat on its spacefaring face as soon as it launched. Quickly after its release, players began storming the internet with negative reviews and pleas for refunds for what they felt was an incomplete game. So where did No Man's Sky go wrong? How did one of the most hyped indie games of all time fail to hit its mark? Well, I'll tell you why. A lot of people I've seen online with complaints for it vary amongst their reasoning, of course. A lot of them seem to think this game was supposed to have multiplayer, which is where the coolest camp counselor and studio head of Hello Games, Sean Murray, comes in to say,
Do we ever get to see ourselves?
No, you don't see yourself, so the only way for you to know what you look like is for somebody else to see you.
Can you run into other people, other players on the game?
Yes, but the chances of that are incredibly rare, just because of the size of what we're building.
Wow.
Now everyone wants to point fingers and say that he was lying, but clearly he states that it's damn near impossible for people to meet, not that it's impossible. Which is kind of misleading, I'll give you that, but that's not the point. That's not even the issue with this game. This game has so much more going against it aside from some false sense of multiplayer being in it. For starters, let's talk about this vast, endless universe of ours. This game has over 18 quintillion planets. That's a whole lot of planets. But what they don't tell you about that big old number is that all these planets don't really feel any fucking different. I myself, in 20 hours of playtime, came across about 40 different solar systems. Out of those 40, I can really only recall maybe 5 planets that were substantially different from each other. This is not what you want when you play a game that is virtually boundless and has the allure that it's a giant complex universe. Hell, we're the gas giants! I haven't seen any planets with any fucking rings on them, and for the love of God, why can I not fly directly into the sun? This game never really feels like you're doing anything different. On top of the planets being the same, everything you do on the planet is the same. You collect the same resources, find the same looking outposts, and find the same randomly generated animals, which mind you aren't really that different when they are composed of about 10 different body parts, and the next different species you find is the same parts but in a different order. It's a goddamn Mr. Potato Head simulator. And to add to that, the amount of sentient beings in this lifelike, endless 18 quintillion planet game is 3. It's 3. Like, for fuck's sake, 3? Only really 3? Why not use that random generation for your sentient creatures? That way I feel like I'm meeting something really different each time. Now, No Man's Sky does do something I do really like with the sentient creatures, and that's that you can learn their language, which immediately benefits you if you're trading with them. Words you learn are highlighted red, and they give you an incentive to learn the language. The only problem is that this shit is practically pointless. I got the full milestone for words learned and aliens met, and I never found an incentive for this. If you do something in accordance to that alien, your rank with that race will increase, making it easier to essentially outrank them and say, fuck you, Space Dick, I don't care what you're dealing with, give me my useless multi-tool upgrade. Which is the only thing I've ever been rewarded with, aside from a little bit of money. It's a useless upgrade that you can find on every planet at almost every single outpost available. There's almost no reason at all to even interact with an alien species. At least not one that I've found. The one thing that I did find a lot of fun in was the space travel. I will give it the benefit of the doubt there. It was extremely cool that this game put in the scope of time that it would take to get to a planet without warping. It gave it a sense of realism and that I was actually like space travel. Flying around and just looking at all these planets was one of the few redeeming qualities about this to me. At least then I could pretend I was in Star Wars like Cowboy Bebop or something. But it's quickly short-lived after you play a few hours. Shocking, I know. What's even more is that your contact with enemy ships is sparse, or at least it was for me. I never really had a lot of dogfights in the time that I played, which is a bummer because I did find that enjoyable. Instead, the only thing I had to shoot was an endless amount of space rocks that gave me the same materials every single time. Oh, and the story. How could I forget? I followed the fucking Atlas path every time I came across a space anomaly. And every time, I was told virtually the same thing. Nothing was any different, more or less. The story was so vague and uninteresting that it gave me no desire to continue it. Like, I'm choking up on my words, I'm so fucking angry. No Man's Sky tried to be a lot of different things, and in the end, it was just fucking... it failed at more or less most all of those things. I don't understand. It's like they fucking took 8 different dishes from around the world and were just like, let's make a giant casserole and see how many people puke. Now, I'm giving this game a lot of shit, granted, but this game is extremely important for game development. The formula that they used hopefully will be used in a more rounded experience in the future. Really, what I think the downfall for this game is that it's one of those few rare indie titles that achieve a AAA status of attention. The hype got the best of this one, and it suffered for it. So is No Man's Sky worth it? Not for the $60 that you pay. But I will say this, for a cheaper price, try it out. Just from the sheer scope of the game, it kinda catches your attention. So, rent it, buy it used, or wait for a price cut that's pretty much inevitable at this point.